Welcome back to the Wizard Weekly, where we talk about everything in gaming. So yesterday I was out and about, downtown in my city in the mall, just doing what I do on these usual days when I'm off, just shopping, looking around and whatnot. And I got a notification on my phone from YouTube. It was from GameSpot, and they were restreaming the PlayStation, dev stream that they were holding yesterday where they showed the PS5 Pro. I watched a little bit of it, while I was there shopping. And when I saw that $699.99 price tag, I could physically feel my wallet get scared. Like, I'm not even planning on buying this thing, but I could just physically feel my wallet getting damaged in real time. I mean, I'm already spending money that I don't want to spend elsewhere. So just seeing that price made me scared. You know what I mean? But let's talk about it. All right. Yesterday, Sony revealed the PlayStation 5 Pro in, the fashion that we already pretty much knew it was going to be in. Looked exactly like the leaks that we talked about the other day when I showed you guys the leaks from, I already forgot his name, but that guy. And like I said, they had a whole stream yesterday where they had this dude who sounded exactly like Ryan Reynolds narrate and tell all the new things that this new console is going to bring to, this new era of PlayStation console. So before we get into the nitty gritty of what we got yesterday, let's look at the physical of this thing. This console doesn't come with a disc drive. It doesn't come with a vertical stand, even though they're showcasing it here in these pictures like it does. This is all stuff that you have to buy separately. All you get is the console and a controller. Now, luckily, you do get a terabyte of storage, on board, so that's pretty good, especially now when games are damn near freaking the size of monuments these days. So, having that much space for the Pro is much needed and expected. And they say that the pre-orders are going to be going out on the 26th of this month, and they should be shipping in your house by the 7th of November. So that's the prediction. They want this before holiday time, and yeah, that's the basic stuff. And as far as what they decided to put into this reskin of the current console, one thing that they did was the upgraded GPU, where they made it bigger, so rendering is faster. Like we said before, it's not going to be a better GPU per se. Like, it's not going to be like the next generation of PlayStation in this Pro console. It's just more faster rendering is what the GPU is doing. So that's cool, expected. That's decent. They're also adding advanced ray tracing for those that are into that. Personally, I don't really care for that much, so long as the game works and it runs at a workable state. I'm cool with whatever a game looks like. But the ones that want to push the edge of the limits and really get the use of this really expensive console, the ray tracing is apparently going to be upgraded. Plus, they're also adding this new AI upscaling thing called what the hell is it called? I don't even know. Yeah, PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution, or PSSR for short. And basically that is going to be like their NVIDIA DLSS, but on their version of it. They're basically taking every frame of the game that you're playing, and they're able to upscale it via their own artificial intelligence and make it more crispier, more sharper, and I would hope just look like a better game overall. Plus, one of the really big things that they wanted to hit on in this showcase was the new graphics mode that you can choose between on the PlayStation 5 Pro. They got the fidelity mode, which is where it's pushing the hardware to its limits, but at the cost of around 30-ish frames per second. Like you can see right here, it's a little bit more choppy. And then obviously performance mode, where frames per second is the object of focus and more bang for your buck with performance. Now, another cool thing that I found that they're adding with this PS5 Pro is the PlayStation 5 Pro Game Boost feature that they're going to be adding. And basically, this feature is going to take most of the backwards compatible games from PlayStation 4 that you can already play on PS5, and basically game boost them to run out in a better setting and in a better performance. Like me, I missed the whole generation of PlayStation 4, so me going back to play those PS4 games on my PS5 is a thing that I like to do. And for those that are in the same boat but planning on somehow getting this PS5 Pro, now that you have a way to advance those games to the current hardware in some way, that's pretty cool to see. I like that's a W. And that's really the basis of everything that the PS5 Pro has to offer. Now, I gotta backtrack this to the first point that I made, which is what everyone is going in a frenzy about, which is pretty much the most important thing to take away from this, because outside of that, the price tag, the $699 price tag, is it worth 700 bones for this PlayStation 5 Pro? Now, I can speak for myself and a lot, and I mean a lot of people, when I say that I'm cool with what I got. The PlayStation 5 day one, really like day 378, because it was a chip shortage, people didn't even get it on day one. But the PlayStation 5 that I already got, I'm cool. I'll ride that out until that thing freaking red screens or whatever the hell it does when it dies out in like 10 years. Whatever it does, I'm cool with that. For $700 just to have some graphic upgrades that you don't even really notice, because like they did a whole like comparison thing, but to the naked eye, man, other than the frames per second when you're doing it in the fidelity mode, you can't really notice. Like just basic gameplay from the PS5 and PlayStation 5 Pro, like when you're not pushing each of their hardware to the limits, it's not, I don't know, man. I'm personally already having a PS5. I can't chuck out $700 barely for rent. I can barely even give that out to anything. So to even fathom giving that to a PS5 Pro just for to flick on a switch to have less frames per second but look better on my not even 4K TV, it's not for me. That's my perspective, and a lot of people's perspective as well. And I've been seeing the meme being tossed around these last 12 hours, people saying like this is how they did with the they're retracing their steps with the PS3, how that launched at $599 in 2006, and like that was an extreme price tag. And in modern day, that was around like we like when you toggle inflation, that's around like $700 or $800 in today's time. So people either defending that or arguing against that. But again, you gotta take into account, even if it was $800 in 2006 for the PlayStation 3, this console being $700 now, you gotta factor in the disk drive that people want to buy, the vertical stand, because again, that's not included with these things anymore. Like they don't, see, the disk drive is $79.99, $80. Then the vertical stand is $30. Media remote, I don't know who uses that, but then you got, if you want to get more storage, that's pricey as hell. It's just a lot of money for barely any difference for those that aren't like really into the console and really like are knowing what they're looking for when they buy this kind of thing. But to be fair, that's really who's going to be buying this $700 console, which is what I wanted to make apparent. I see people saying that nobody's going to buy this thing, that the pre-orders aren't going to sell. Like, man, come on, bro. There's like how many billion people in this world, how many millions with more money that they know what to do with, and millions that know how to waste money in ways that other people can't. Like, people are going to buy this thing day one, and it's going to sell out just like the PlayStation 3 did in 2006. It's still sold out at its crazy price tag. The PS5 Pro is still going to sell out. And honestly, I feel the most sad for the people who, are balling on a budget and who were waiting for the PS5 Pro to come out, who were holding out on PlayStation 5 and didn't buy the console in 2020 or in any year, beforehand, and were waiting for the PlayStation 5 Pro just to get that, real use of the console. And they're probably going to have to pay $700 plus maybe $80 and $30 for the peripherals, which is, that sucks. I feel sad for y'all pockets for if y'all doing that, but me, hell no. So yeah, man, that's just really what it comes down to. If you don't want to buy this console for the slight upgrades that you get for it at $700. And that's that. Let's move on. So yesterday, as well as the PS5 Pro being announced in the background, which people didn't even really see, not that I've seen, Ubisoft announced that they were going to be making some changes with their crew games going forward in response to the Stop Killing Games Act. Now, if you don't know, basically the Crew 1 shut down, I think early this year or late last year, and it sparked a lot of outrage because it was an online only game, but people thought that they could have at least left it in an offline playable state, because once a game like this shuts down, you can't access it at all. And you know, people who bought that game were pissed because, you know, I paid for the game, why can't I access it? And then it turned into hold it back with people, you know, finally discovering that when you agree to a terms of service, you're actually having a license to a game, not actually buying it. And then it just turned into the whole Stop Killing Games Act, where, you know, in the EU, people are having the initiative to try and stop all developers in the EU from creating online games that you can't play once they shut the servers down. And you know, that started gaining momentum. And then finally, after months, Ubisoft announced with The Crew, saying that from now on going forward, all of their Crew games are going to have an offline mode when they eventually shut down and, you know, aren't profitable anymore. These games include The Crew 2 and The Crew Motorfest, which is their, you know, most recent games. And I mean, that's cool. You know what I mean? I just think that, you know, some games that are like strictly dependent on having some sort of like, you know, player interaction or player based economy, like games like those, I don't think should be have an offline state once they get shut down. But any game that can, like The Crew Motorfest, like the original Crew, a game that got shut down, that could have had a offline single player mode. But my only gripe with the Stop Killing Games Act is to take into consideration some games that, you know, that aren't literally built from the ground up, that can't have that kind of mode once it gets shut down. Now, going forward, if all games that are online only have some sort of backup mode where it's offline, that's cool. If that's what the initiative can, you know, change itself to in the future, that's amazing. But in its current act, I just don't agree with how it says that every online game should have some sort of single player mode after it gets shut down. You know, not every game is built for that. It's built from the ground up like that. What I'm trying to say. But yeah, people were bittersweet about this. Some people were like, you know, cool. Some people didn't really care. Honestly, I never played the game, so I don't really have an opinion on this game in particular. But yeah, that's what the Crew fans have to look forward to in the future of this title. And lastly, to wrap up my little yap session, I wanted to talk about Roblox. Now, I'm not a Roblox player anymore. I don't know what it's turned into in the years I've been absent from this platform, but you know, I can't act like Roblox was in my childhood. You know, in 2015, all the way up to like 2017, when I was playing on the MacBook, you know, this game was my everything, because you could basically play almost any kind of game in Roblox, and you know, for free. And balling on a MacBook is some of the hardest shit I ever did in my life, and to have Roblox there was a blessing. Anyways, the team at Roblox recently held their keynote event where they shared some of their upcoming like features that they're going to add to the game, and you know, their growth for the year in the company. And you know, that's cool or whatever. They showed like some sort of like new community tabs and stuff, you know, being able to like group with your friends and have like voice chats on the app. I don't know what these kids are doing nowadays, but I guess that's cool. But what was really interesting, what I found, is that they're planning to allow people to be able to sell games directly from the well, not like sell games, but like be able to sell access to the Roblox games directly for money. Now, if you didn't already know, the Roblox has this in-game currency called Robux, to which you can buy into and use to buy access to certain games that cost Robux to enter. And once you pay that fee, you have access to that game for life. That's how Robux works. But now they're going to be allowing people to charge like $9.99 or like, you know, $10.99 to have access to you know, some of these games that would cost Robux. Basically kind of the same thing, because you could just put the Robux amount equivalent and then just sell it like that, but now they're just cutting out the middleman and just charging money. And they even did the liberty of breaking down the math to us, showing how much the developers get out of that cut, and like saying that, you know, titles sold at $9.99, developers get 50% of the revenue. $29.99 they get 60, and at $49.99 they get 70. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you, I've never played a game in my life, or even seen a game in my life, that's worth $9.99, $29.99, or $49.99 on Roblox. Like, I've played a lot of games on that platform in my years, and I've never played a game worth that much. Now, to be fair to the platform and their creators, I did used to play a lot of like really good games that were on par with some of the best first-person shooters, like, you know, here, Phantom Force. I used to play the hell out of this game, and you know, if I had to pay like maybe like $3.99 at best to pay this game. I would play it for that amount. But $9.99 and $29.99 for these Roblox games, I don't know, man. Like, I just don't know where. I don't know who would spend that kind of money. And for a children's platform, mostly, you know, they even know that this is a children's platform, even though they want to act like it isn't. That's a crazy thing to do, at least in my eyes, because I haven't seen a game worth $29.99 on that platform. But, you know, I'm guessing that it's not gonna maybe ruin the platform, since you can make a lot of money on Roblox from what I'm saying, you know, just having like the free game rather than, you know, charging for in-game cosmetics and all that in-game shit. So hopefully nothing like terrible comes from this, and Roblox can continue to thrive, and the games that are worth that price tag, I guess, can thrive as well. But I'm just, you know, that the old head of me talking is just saying, you know, I don't know who the hell's gonna buy that, but you know, what do I know? I don't even play the shit no more. And yeah, man, that's been the Wizard Weekly for today. See you on the next one.